Hey friends, I'm Pragmatik and I like to talk about video games. And the game I want to talk about today is Gal Metal for the Nintendo Switch. Initially I knew nothing about this game. The artwork hooked me, and really I hadn't played a rhythm game in so long, so let's get into it.
Gal Metal is a drum-centric rhythm game developed by DMM Games and published by XSEED, the company for notable games like The Last Story and Fragile Dreams. Our story takes place when a young high school student is suddenly abducted and soon finds that he's not the only one, as he is joined by a girl of the same age. They find that they've been abducted by these race of octopus-like aliens that had their planet destroyed by the signals of heavy metal being transmitted by the Voyager satellite. Now these two must serve as their Earth's ambassador, but only one of them can. The aliens then fuse the two together, locking both of their consciousness in this girl's body, but only allowing the boy to control the body. They are then given a few days to prep to defend the Earth with the power of metal, which serves as the entire premise of the game. With the girl's knowledge of drumming and her band of metalheads, she'll have to teach the intrusive boy how to play and save the Earth. Each chapter or gig will have you practicing a certain drum pattern to perform when the aliens decide to attack next. Each gig has an episodic feel to it, expanding the thoughts and ideals of your bandmates. You'll be able to give your thoughts on subjects at times, which might unlock events to bond with your bandmates even further. At the very end of each gig, you'll have to perform with your bandmates and reach a high enough score to stave off the assault of invaders. Performing the drum patterns you practiced for that gig and mixing them up with other patterns should allow you to see through to the next level. You might notice that there isn't really any prompts to hit anything or even really a musical timeline altogether. This is because the game warrants the idea of playing freeform and performing the patterns whenever you choose to, allowing the player to be more expressive in their playstyle. Time leading up to the next coming invasion will allow you to go to different areas of your city and perform certain tasks, which will increase your stats. These stats can give you more points at the end of each song, or maybe reward you with more points for finding secret rhythms within each song. Players also have the chance to hang out with bandmates to grow a deeper bond with them and even unlock character-specific events. This simple mechanic is by far one of my favorite things of the whole game. I love the idea of taking a break from rocking out and spending time with your fellow bandmates, unlocking events, and learning more about them. Add on to that, leveling up your skills is a fun plus that breaks away from the rhythm game norm. The art is pleasant to look at as well. The simple drawn 2D comic book style storytelling is entertaining as well as pretty funny. The change to 3D has the models looking pretty good as well. Definitely no lag in their animations, and it's pretty cute to watch them all rock out at the same time. Even the little events have them looking like a small play show, placing them on popsicle sticks and running around the cardboard cutout stage. It's all such a neat experience. Adding in all the prompts to engage you in conversation and even watching the funny scenarios the girls get wrapped up in takes me away from the idea that I'm even playing a rhythm game. It feels more akin to playing a text-based RPG with a slice of life element, which is something I truly appreciate. With a unique story and a diverse cast, this game is sure to entertain you for a few hours, as that's generally how long the game is. All that leaves is the gameplay itself. It ain't good.
I really like the game's simple 2D artwork, and the 3D animation is really smooth, but it doesn't really excuse the major problem that plagues the game.
With all the wholesome narrative and characters to get lost in, it's almost easy to get distracted from the gameplay, which is kind of bad. Where to start? Despite having two modes, one that feels a bit more freeform and one that might feel more familiar to people who are actually drummers, you'll notice that neither of these modes are enough to give the illusion that the act of drumming along to any song actually feels good. Gal Metal straight up tells you that playing on a TV will cause a bit of a delay and even recommends using headphones to stay on beat. This is understandable, but the delay itself isn't the only thing that puts a damper on the gameplay. It's pretty much, well, everything. The drum sound effects plays a bit louder than anything else, which I get, but it's almost too poorly mixed to keep you in rhythm with the song itself. There's also a very noticeable delay with the right Joy-Con compared to the left, which can really throw off your playing. I can understand a delay, but it shouldn't be this bad. It feels like they also tried to rectify the delay problem with the game being freeform and allowing you to perform any beat combination you want, but I feel I probably would have enjoyed it more if it just played like a traditional rhythm game. At least I would know if I was doing something right or not. It should be noted that the game can also be played on the Switch touchscreen itself, but the UI is kind of all over the place and it can get a little clunky. Still maybe a little preferable over using the Joy-Cons. Not that any of this really matters, you could probably just flail your arms through the whole song and still come up with a high enough score to win. Kinda makes me wonder why they added a scoring system at all. It's not unplayable, but there is a strong disconnect you'll feel while playing. Plus you look like this. It can be fun, and I even found myself getting into it a time or two, but this is a major issue that should have been further worked on before release, especially since everything else about this game is just so good. The music itself is pretty pleasant. Definitely a few good songs in there, but once again this gets a little shafted by the presence of your drum playing. Modulating the sound and volume of the drum hits correlating to how hard or soft you move the Joy-Cons could have helped to make this a more immersive experience. Gal Metal is one of those games that I thought I could really get lost in if certain improvements were made to make it truly stand out from the rest. Or maybe I just have no rhythm and the fault is entirely mine, who knows? I can almost forgive the gameplay for the sheer fact that the art style, RPG factor, and even the characters are all just something that I find really well done and worth the time. You probably could have scrapped the whole rhythm aspect and built something different altogether and I would have truly found it to be a gem. Gal Metal is still worth checking out if you're ever craving an open rhythm game in slice of life scenarios. Just maybe do it in the privacy of your own room. Thanks for checking out the video. Did you play Gal Metal? Did the controls bother you too, or do you think it wasn't all that bad? Let me know down in the comments. Don't forget to like and even subscribe if you'd like to see more. Maybe even hit that bell since YouTube is being so YouTube lately. And as always, keep it practical.